New footage has come out.
Te-Hina Paopao, she hacked Caitlin Clark. Her arm is like being grabbed by Te-Hina Paopao and she does take it off.
Then Caitlin did a little pushback. The hand is there. I mean, what do you want her to do? Ref not calling the grab. This is a foul, okay? This is a foul.
The footage speaks for itself, and this time it reveals everything. Just 2 minutes ago, a brand new video surfaced online. Take a look. This is the moment fans have been talking about for weeks. Clear evidence of blatant referee bias against Caitlin Clark.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Missed calls I think I've ever seen in basketball.
And then when the refs don't call the bear hug.
Accusations of her pushing off fall apart under slow motion, especially when defenders are practically clinging to her like it's an NFL game.
This happens a lot. There's a lot of times that guards are working the defenders off of them, especially if a defender has a hand on their side, on their jersey, on their arm, anything. You are allowed to kind of swipe and get the defenders off of you.
As the league continues to look the other way, the evidence only grows stronger. This latest clip could be the breaking point. Is the WNBA shielding its veteran players while sacrificing its most high-profile rookie?
It's a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
The WNBA is physical, and she just needs to get over it.
Or are we witnessing a deliberate effort to undermine Clark's rise to dominance? Get ready. What you're about to see could change everything.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
Let's break down exactly what this new footage reveals and why it could be a total game changer.
Watch the play here.
To reset things.
As you can see, she dribbles over to the wing, pushes off a little bit, and hits that three. Now, if you slow things down and if you actually go frame by frame, you can see that Paopao had two hands on Caitlin. It wasn't just a one-hand hand check. She was kind of grabbing her with two hands.
The clip captures a tense moment between Caitlin Clark and Paopao, where Clark is accused of pushing off to create space for her shot. At first glance, it fits the familiar narrative we've been hearing. Clark always pushes off. Social media quickly jumped on that bandwagon, spreading the claim like wildfire.
In the comment section, we saw a lot of people saying, oh, Caitlin Clark has to push off. Caitlin always pushing off of her defender.
But slow the footage down, and the story changes completely. You can clearly see Paopao wrapping both arms around Clark's waist, holding her back before she even starts to make a move.
It's past Te-Hina Paopao here. Te-Hina Paopao is stopping her with her arms. Her arms like this on the jersey, stopping her. There is an arm extension. Because she's in such bad defensive position, is already, look at where her feet is before the contact. She's throwing herself out of the play anyway.
This wasn't basketball defense. It looked more like ballroom dancing. Paopao had her arms locked around Caitlin's hips in a hold that belonged on a dance floor, not a court.
I was on her. Paopao grabs her hip. You see here, so Caitlin's trying to blow by Te-Hina Paopao. Te-Hina Paopao is not a good enough defender to play flat like this. Two hands on Caitlin Clark's jersey, then she goes around the hip. Caitlin shoots from so far back. Oh my God.
It looked like an audition for Dancing with the Stars. And here's the kicker. The referee had a clear view of the whole thing and did absolutely nothing. No whistle, no call, just silence. That's what lit the fuse, sparking outrage from fans, coaches, and analysts across the board.
Paopao was holding her. Paopao had the foul first, man. Paopao grabbed CC with both hands to keep her from blowing past her, and people be about a push-up.
Even on the Fever bench, assistant coach Stephanie White and veteran January were caught on camera clearly frustrated, springing to their feet and vocally challenging the referees.
Some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. Like, this is not just a hand check. This is a double jersey grab.
WNBA referees that is making it so damn hard for them to make the right calls at the right moment.
They saw exactly what anyone with eyes could see. Clark was fouled first. Watching the footage closely, it's clear Caitlin didn't deliver a forceful shove or make a malicious move. She was simply reacting naturally to being held.
Look, the angle shows it that, like I said, Paopao was fouling Caitlin.
She used a subtle hand movement to create space. No full extension, no aggressive shove, just a natural response to being illegally held. That's not an offensive foul.
It's not an offensive foul, and if it's an offensive foul, the offensive foul comes way after the defensive foul. Even if it wasn't for the hand, I don't think that that's enough of a push-off to call an offensive foul, especially when the defensive player is off balance.
That's called survival on the court. The fact that the referees ignored the initial contact highlights the deeper issue fans have been raising. Clark isn't just being defended, she's being targeted, and officials are allowing it to happen. This clip isn't just about a missed call, it confirms a growing concern. Caitlin Clark is being officiated differently. Whether it's because she's a rookie, a rising star, or the league isn't ready for her spotlight, the refs are letting calls slide that wouldn't be overlooked if the roles were reversed.
The WNBA referees are terrible. The one-sided calls against Caitlin are so obvious and disgusting. They're ruining the game. If the referees do not get this whole situation together with this Caitlin Clark thing, fans is finna stop watching this sport.
Now, let's dig deeper into what this footage reveals beyond a single missed call. What's unfolding is a clear pattern, a troubling double standard that has followed Caitlin Clark since her very first game in the WNBA.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine, because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action.
This isn't just about one defender holding her during a step back or one referee swallowing the whistle. No, it's part of a much bigger problem. A problem where the rules seem to change depending on who's holding the ball and whose name is on the back of the jersey. Watch any recent game with Caitlin Clark, and it's clear. She's grabbed, bumped, pushed, elbowed, and sometimes even tackled.
Why is that? New year, Caitlin Clark still getting assaulted though, bruh. Why is we back here? That's what I'm not getting, bro. We're back with the same situation again, bro, over and over and over again. One fan stated she has yet to shoot a single free throw. Yes, bro, I bet y'all didn't even know that.
It's almost as if some players see her presence on the court as a personal challenge. The level of physicality she faces far exceeds what's normal in professional basketball, yet the referees keep letting it slide, time and time again. When Clark tries to push through or defend herself, she's the one who ends up penalized. Remember the flagrant fouls earlier this season? The unnecessary hits, the blatant body checks that went uncalled? Now we have clear footage of Pow clutching Clark around the waist, restricting her movement, and still no whistle. But the moment Clark pushes back even slightly to free herself, the narrative flips to she's always pushing off. It's a twisted double standard. The league's brightest young star is being held to a different standard, one that's costing her fair calls on the court and damaging her reputation off it. And some media outlets have bought into this anti-Clark storyline, parroting phrases like Caitlin gets superstar treatment.
She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine, because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action. The Indiana Fever did finish the WNBA preseason undefeated. Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year.
Or she's accused of playing too physically. But here's the truth. She's being penalized for her skill and popularity. Instead of celebrating the talent and excitement she brings to the league, it seems some players, coaches, and yes, even referees, are trying to knock her down a notch, as if success must come with a price. This bias doesn't just impact Clark. It undermines the integrity of the entire game. When referees overlook fouls like the one caught on camera, it throws the balance out of whack. Defenders get a green light to play dirty, knowing the whistle won't blow. It stifles fair competition and encourages a style of play where aggression trumps skill. Worst of all, it sends a damaging message to young players and fans. The league isn't about fairness, it's about favoritism. We're not asking for special treatment, we're demanding equal treatment. If any other player had been grabbed like that, the call would have been made.
Caitlin Clark statue, in order for them to gain separation, they kind of stick that forearm out there because they're getting bear hugged. The other defensive player won't let them cut across to the lane.
Caitlin Clark, her arm is like being grabbed by Tina Pow Pow, and she does take it off.
She's trying to gain separation to shoot a three.
But I've never, like, this is some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. This is a vet move by Pow Pow. I have to say, this is a vet move by Pow Pow.
If Caitlin does it, she gets crucified. That's the double standard in action. This video, this footage, is just the latest undeniable proof. It shows that referees aren't missing these calls by accident. They're choosing to ignore them. So what does this all add up to? What are the real consequences of this ongoing bias against Caitlin Clark? Let's be clear. It's not just about missed fouls or lost possessions. This is starting to shape the entire arc of Caitlin's rookie season, with ripple effects across the league. First, consider performance. When a player has to constantly battle through contact that never gets called, it inevitably changes how they play. Caitlin is known for her speed, her ability to create space, and her high basketball IQ.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger. It's very clear that she is rusty. She is very, very rusty. And it's also, we are seeing teams throw multiple different coverages at her in preseason.